With the goal of providing devices with big battery capacity and good speed for the masses, Realme launched its newest smartphone line in the Philippines called Narzo. This line is caught in between the entry-level C series and other Realme mid-rangers. The first handset out of that series to reach our shores is the Narzo 20. And the good news, we have that device right now. At just 7,990 pesos, it is an interesting handset sporting MediaTek's Helio G85 gaming-focused chipset, a massive 6,000 mAh battery with USB-C 18W quick charging technology, and a 48MP triple camera setup. So hi, this is Peter of GIZGUIDEPH, and this is our Realme Narzo 20 review. Let's see if it is worth it. Similar to a lot of Realme devices, the Narzo 20 arrived in this yellow box, a bright yellow-orange box with the highlights of the phone at the back. That includes a 6,000 mAh mega battery, 48MP triple camera, Helio G85 gaming processor, and the USB-C quick charge technology. Also, it showed here that it has the 4GB of RAM and 64GB version, as well as the Blade Blue or Blue Blade colorway. So, without any further ado, let's begin the unboxing. So here we go. The first thing we will see is this. Hey, welcome to the Realme family. And it shows here that it has this SIM ejector tool. We will be using this to open the SIM card tray later. And then you will find the information guide and the quick start guide. So if you care to read this, just read it. And the next is the phone itself. Here is the phone itself. Here you go. This is the Narzo 20. I'll remove the plastic wrap. And as you can see, this is the handset itself, and it has this beautiful V-like textured back design. Anyway, we'll talk more about that in a bit. And then next is this is the charger. Yes guys, it has an included charger, unlike Apple. Hello Apple. And this charger is even a fast charger. It is an 18W quick charging charger that is a bit rare for phones under 10,000 pesos. And then the cable. The cable, okay, USB-A. And then USB Type-C. So it has a USB Type-C cable. That means that it can be charged in either position. It is a reversible charging port for this charger. Also, I noticed here that there is a pre-installed screen protector to prevent scratches from the screen of this device. And that's a good thing. Similar to other Realme devices in the past, this has no free earphones included in the package. Obviously, I would have liked it better if there's a free earphones with microphones like other budget smartphones. And unfortunately, the case was also removed at the package this time. But hey, that's just a minor problem. At least it still has the fast charger. It has the fast charger unlike other phones. Similar to Realme C-series smartphones, the Realme Narzo 20 is equipped with an all-plastic body with texture design to provide better grip and prevent annoying fingerprint smudges. It is also less prone to hairline scratches as well. In comparison, the back design is similar to what we saw with the Realme C15. It also has this square camera hump and the fingerprint scanner at the back, but the texture is a bit different. But this time it has this V-shaped light reflection suggesting victory for gamers because Realme is targeting the mobile budget gamers for this handset. If you will notice, the back is 3D curve. That suggests that this handset will be fairly comfortable to hold. I just find it a little bit slippery at times, even if it has this texture that's supposed to provide a little bit better grip. In front, as you can see, it has this massive 6.5-inch HD Plus display. And here you will find that it has this waterfall-like notch that is housing the selfie camera of this device. The bezels on top and on the sides are fairly small, and that makes this handset fairly immersive for what it is at this price point. Only the shin bezel is a little bit thicker than what I wanted, but real talk, if you want phones with slim bezels, especially on the shin, go for phones found in the 20,000 price point. On top, there's nothing on top. At the bottom, you will see that it has a single speaker here, and then you will find the USB Type-C reversible port, and then this two holes for the microphones, and a 3.5mm headphone jack slot. This is the female port. And the side, you will find that it has this volume up and down keys as well as the power key. The power key isn't textured, but that's fine. This is a budget smartphone. At left, you will see that it has this hole for the triple slot tray. And yes guys, it has a triple slot tray unlike other devices with only a hybrid tray. This means that you can put a micro SD card separately aside from the dual nano SIMs. We just noticed that its SIM tray doesn't have the red rubber ring or the red rubber gasket which means that this phone doesn't have any sort of water resistance. But that's normal for the price, just be careful with your phone. Overall, I like the way that Realme designed this handset. It looks sleek, feels great in the hands, and it is fairly durable as well. It even has this Gorilla Glass 3 protection in front to prevent unwanted scratches. That is aside from its use of a pre-installed screen protector. For multimedia experience, this handset is very similar to the other Realme C smartphones and the Realme 6i. For example, it is similar to the Realme C15, this is similar to the Realme C3, and this is similar to the Realme 6i. All of them have this 6.5-inch HD Plus display, an LTPS IPS panel with 1600 by 720 resolution at 269 pixels per inch. Like what I mentioned before, I am fine with this display. It can go pretty bright, it is sharp enough, and the colors are pretty accurate overall. My only concern is the overall sharpness compared to other smartphones in the 10K range or some smartphones in the 8,000 pesos price point. Other smartphones in this price point already have a full HD panel, and this is still stock with the HD Plus resolution. But to be fair, that is just nitpicking on my end. As you can see here, it still has pretty decent viewing angles, and the colors are still considered as accurate. And even the sharpness isn't that bad overall. So for me, this could still be good for your Netflix viewing experience and even YouTube videos at HD resolution. As mentioned earlier, it has a single down-firing speaker at the bottom, and that means that this doesn't have a stereo effect because it doesn't have this secondary speaker that is commonly found on the earpiece of the handset. But for me, the audio quality of this device could be considered as respectable for a budget smartphone. Let's listen.
Uy, kamusta? Ito na naman ako. Medyo Merano, matlasangpinoy.com. Alam ko karamihan sa atin dito mahilig kumain ng chicken. Iba't ibang mga lutong chicken, paborito natin yan.
Like what you heard, its single speaker is good enough. It isn't the loudest, but it isn't bad sounding at all. Bass will be lacking, but vocals and other instruments are reasonably clear. My gripe, the sharp peaks and hissing. For wired audio, it has the real sound technology turned on by default, but you can always turn it off if you don't want the artificial soundstage and slightly a bit bloated bass that it provides. Once it's turned off, I find this a little bit more natural compared to other super budget smartphones, and to my ears, at least to my ears, it is decent sounding and it can drive even some multi-driver earphones like this one that is normally a little bit harder to drive on mobile smartphones. For calls, we tried its ear speakers and it is considered as clear enough.
Hi, this is Peter of GIZGUIDEPH, and this is an audio recording coming from the realme narzo-20.
For audio recording, it isn't the most impressive around, but at least it records sound in stereo quality. For cameras, the Realme Narzo-20 is one of the few phones with an f1.8 48MP main shooter. It is even assisted by a FDAP focus for more accurate and faster focusing speeds. The second camera of the device is an 8MP f2.3 119-degree ultra-wide-angle camera, and it is paired with a 2MP f2.4 4cm macro camera, and it also has an LED flash on this side. Realme Narzo-20's camera UI is similar to what other Realme devices have. It has an easy-to-toggle buttons, it has an HDR, it has this video mode, the night mode, as well as the portrait mode and a pure portrait MP mode. You may also access the expert mode, where you can adjust the shutter speed, ISO, white balance, exposure, compensation, and more. Also, it has other modes here like the usual time-lapse, ultra macro, Google Lens, slow-mo, expert, and panorama. At the back, it takes good images in daylight with close to natural looking colors. Even when using the ultra-wide cam, shots are decent in well-lit scenarios and misfocusing is rare. Barrel distortion is a bit evident using the wide cam, but it isn't as bad as other budget devices. For zooming, it has up to 10 times digital zoom, however, don't expect it to be great. The third camera of the phone is the macro camera. Some may say that it is gimmicky, but when you need to take super close-up images, it'll somehow prove its worth. Unlike most budget phones with multiple cameras, this phone doesn't have a depth sensor for the bokeh effect. But fortunately, while far from perfect, the software background blur of this device is considered as acceptable. We also like to note that the quality of the images we took didn't degrade much in situations with artificial lighting. Even for indoor shots, colors impressively remain consistent on both the main and wide cam. In low light, there will be struggles. Expect softer images with a bit more grain. But fortunately, this one has one of the nicer night modes that we tested on a budget. It can make your low light images brighter and detailed, but with controlled exposure. Nightscape shots aren't overly detailed and too cartoonish unlike other night modes in the past. Selfies are important and Realme knows that. That's why Realme loaded this handset with a capable 8MP shooter with a pretty wide field of view. Similar to other Realme devices, it has the beauty mode, auto HDR, and screen flash. Daylight selfies are crisp for a budget phone, and colors and shadows are far from bad. The beauty mode will obviously smoothen your skin, but it can be controlled. The bokeh effect is alright, and it has decent edge detection. The blur effect is just a little artificial for me. In low light, it will struggle, but there are times where it will perform decently. There is no night mode for selfies though. For videos, it records up to 1080p at 60fps for the main camera and up to 30fps for the ultra-wide camera. Picture quality is decent for both the main camera and ultra-wide camera, and we also like to note that the ultra-wide camera is not overly distorted. Since it has no OIS, the shake is evident. For selfie videos, we like that it is fairly wide and detailed. It is shaky, but it is lesser than the shake of the primary camera. For mobile content creators, it has the Soloop app that can easily create photo slideshows and let you edit videos on the go. At 7,990 pesos, the Realme Narzo 20 is one of the rare phones with a pretty powerful MediaTek Helio G85 octa-core processor. It is a bit faster than the already fast Helio G80 chip found on the Realme 6i with a slightly higher clock Mali G52 2EEMC2 GPU. At this price point, only the Redmi Note 9 has the same chip. But its 7,990 pesos version only has 3GB of RAM and it has a smaller 5,020 mAh of battery. The result, this handset has a pretty high Antutu score of 200,553 with a GPU score of 43,788 and a CPU score of over 70,000. At Geekbench, it has a single core score of 352 and a multi-core score of 1305. Using the 3D Mark Wildlife test, it has an overall score of 699 with an average frame rate of 4.20. In real life, this handset runs most of the basic apps with ease and I never really had a major problem with it. There's a few occasions where you will experience lag, but it is very rare. That is actually acceptable for smartphones priced this low. And mind you, this has one of the fastest chips found in this price point. With this device, you won't have problems in accessing your social media accounts, opening photos and videos, and even playing some of the heavy games. Speaking of gaming, Realme Narzo 20 also has the game space with competition mode, balance mode, and low power mode. The competition mode will drain more battery, but it will provide a more stable gaming experience. Realme's Game Space app can even block notifications, reject calls, block calls and notifications, and allow calls and notifications. We were able to play NBA 2K20 with mostly high and medium settings with respectable frame rates and minimal frame drops. Call of Duty Mobile is also playable at medium graphic quality with high frame rate, depth of field, and real-time shadows. It gets warm after playing games for a few hours, but it's far from hot. This device has decent thermals. One of the main highlights of this device is its massive 6,000 mAh of battery. It is one of the very few phones in the under 10,000 pesos price point with such kind of massive battery capacity. The result, in our PC Mark Work Battery 2.0 test, it recorded 15 hours and 56 minutes from 100% to 20%. After the battery test, we even needed at least 3 hours to fully drain its 20% battery. That's insane for a smartphone priced this low. In our looping video test with medium brightness and Wi-Fi turned on, it even recorded 25 hours before it drains to 0%. Real-life battery life performance is also crazy as you will only need to charge this phone once every 2 days. Speaking of charging, this device has a USB-C 18 watts fast charging support. Versus most charging protocols found in the under 10,000 range with 10 watts or 5 watts of charging, this is clearly faster. However, Since this one has a massive 6000 mAh of battery capacity, you will still need a little bit over 3 hours to fully charge it from 0 to 100%. For connectivity, Realme Narzo 20 has a dual band Wi-Fi, 4G LTE, Bluetooth 5.0, FM radio, and GPS with AGPS, GLONASS, Beidou, and dual SIM slots. As long as you are in an area with a decent connection, you won't have problems using this device for doing messaging, calls, and the internet. The Realme UI found on this phone is similar to the other Realme devices we tried in the past. It is based on Android 10, it is clean looking, it is fairly intuitive, and it is easy to use. It is also near stock-like with quite smooth overall performance. There are no ads, and it has an option to use the swipe gestures instead of the traditional Android keys. The only thing that I didn't like about the Realme UI is the inclusion of a few bloats that can be removed and the use of more than 2 app markets. Personally, I'm already good with the Google Play Store and its own app market. The Realme Narzo 20 is definitely one of the most powerful phones found under 8,000 pesos today. It isn't perfect, as I would have liked it better if it has a sharper resolution screen and a faster charging speed, as well as video stabilization. But to be honest, we are just nitpicking. Those few so-called weak points won't change the fact that this is arguably the speediest handset in its class with a big battery capacity and a capable 48MP camera setup. Overall, this handset is pretty hard to beat for the price. What about you guys? Do you agree with our review? Please let us know in the comment section, and thank you so much for watching. Again, this is Peter of GIZGUIDE.com, and stay safe. Goodbye.